What up, baby? It's your boy, the ATXSooner, back with another video. And as y'all can see, I don't got the setup behind me. I don't got the cool Oklahoma gear. I'm not at home right now. I'm not at the control center. I'm not at the Oklahoma Corona. I'm not at the ATXSooner Schooner. Or, some people just call it, my little corner in my little office in my apartment. But I'm not there right now. So we settling for this. We getting out this content. Week 1, excited. I know y'all are happy. I'm happy. So let's get into it, man. We're going to break down this Temple Owls team. We're going to see what we can expect from this Oklahoma team going into this week. We back under the lights on a Friday night. Man, them boys ain't did that since high school. So good things, man. Good things to come. We actually get to start. I mean, we might not be playing in week 0, but we get to start our season off a little earlier than most people, a day earlier. So, we will have the eyes on this. We will have a lot of attention focused on Oklahoma on Friday. So let's see what we can expect, man. But I want to start off with, oh yeah, and it's weird, I've never stood up in a video before, so this is kind of awkward, so, hey, bear with me. We're going to work like this until, I'm going to be back and forth from the crib, back and forth here and there, so it'll be different. The audio quality will change, so when I'm here, the audio quality obviously won't be as good as when I got my microphone at the house, so it is what it is. We still going to get this content out there, so anyways. Temple Owls. Handy dandy notebook, as you can see. I got a lot of notes here. So let's see. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through a couple facts for this team last year. So last year they went 3-9. Actually, the last 3 years they went 3-9. First year under a whole different coach. Then the last 2 years under the same coach, 3-9. Not that good. Not that good of a team, man. I mean, they were 1-0 in their 1-7 in their conference last year, and they're not in the Power 4 conference. They're in the American Conference. So just putting that into perspective on what we're going against right now. So 1-7 against the American Conference. They were last in rushing in the American Conference. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak, if you want to count last year. And, I mean, their starting quarterback last year, he transferred to Rice. He was their main production at that position last year. They won't be seeing there. They're kind of juggling that position at this moment. They don't know who's going to be solidified as that #1 guy. So we might see a little bit of multiple different type of people out there running that position, But either way, I feel like our defense is going to be prepared for it. Nothing to worry about. Anyways, when you talk about roster turnaround, this is similar to when Lincoln left Oklahoma, right? BV came in and hella new transfers, hella new recruits. It was a whole new team, whole new philosophy. Man, it was night and day. And obviously that turnaround, I mean, it was a 6 and 7 years. So, I mean, that turnaround wasn't that good of a turnaround. But either way, you see, we got it going now. But I feel like this could be the position that they're in. I feel like that coach is trying to kind of start over, man. I mean, he brought in 60 new players. 60 new players. Plus, it's more than that. I mean, I think they had like 40-plus transfers. They had like 20-plus recruits come in. They got 60-plus new players on that team. So, whole new team. So, obviously everything I'm going through, everything I wrote down right here, that's from last year. But it's a whole new team from last year. So, I mean, what do you expect? You don't really know. I mean, I think that, they got a pretty good track record under this coach when it comes to, going, what were they? 3-9? Well, so he's been there 2 years. He's gone 3-9 both years. So, I mean, kind of know what to expect. And then plus their talent is never going to outweigh Oklahoma's talent. Let's put it that way. But let's go into some players, man. They got returning, man. They got Trey Thomas. He's a defensive end. It looks like the majority of their production that's returning for this year is on that defensive line. So they got 2 defensive ends that are returning. Like I said again, Trey Thomas, defensive end, 6'4", 225. He got more of that linebacker build. I mean, not really what you would expect to see on that front line. But then again, we're talking about the American Conference. We're not talking about the SEC. So obviously, these players are not going to be SEC built. They're not going to be 260, 280, 300 on up front like that. So I mean, hey, we should be able to dominate them. But let's go in. Trey Thomas, he had 30 tackles last year, 5 tackles for loss. They got DeJuan Black. He's a defensive end, 6'3", 240, 29 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. Not bad, man. Not bad. I mean, when you want a productive year, and if you end the year with these stats for DeJuan Black, Rocky's right here, y'all. He's still here. But anyways, when you end the year with the stats that DeJuan Black had, man, you can't be disappointed in that. I mean, first team All AAC, not bad, bro. I mean, he's not gonna do that against Oklahoma, but it just gives you an idea of what the talent they do have on that front line. And they're not returning that many people. I mean, like I said, they have 60+ new people coming in this year. So whole new squad out there. Let's go into their offense, though. They got Dante Wright. He's a returning receiver, 5'9", 180, speed guy, 39 receptions, 504 yards, 4 touchdowns last year. I mean, you can't get mad at that. I mean, that's kind of like number 2 receiver numbers. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, hey, you got to get what you can get. You got to take what you can take. And if they want to come back here, you can't argue with them. You got to let them come back. Hey, come on, we need that production back. So, them boys, I'm pretty sure they're happy to have him back. Preseason All-AAC, second team this year, going into the year. So, I mean, they expect pretty big things from Dante. But, I mean, when it comes to Oklahoma, man, that defense, there's no reason why that front line, that defensive line, should have any running backs make it to the second level. Pretty much, I feel like that linebacker group, they should be on cleanup duty pretty much on Friday. I mean, if you do get around that defensive line, you should never get past that second wave of defense. So I expect linebackers, I expect linebackers to just have that cleanup duty responsibility. You know, make sure that, you know, ain't nothing getting past you. Obviously, that's what their job is. But I expect them to do their job well. Let's get back into it. So going off of last year, I mean, if you want to go like the per game breakdown of the Temple Owls and their stats, what they like to do, how they, you know, their averages over the year. If you're looking at their passing game, they average about 40+ attempts a game, 270+ yards a game, 2 touchdowns a game in the air. On the ground, they got about 27 attempts per game, 95 yards a game, and a 1 touchdown a game. This is what they produce in the American Conference. They're going against an SEC Oklahoma team right now who's built for it. So I don't expect anywhere near these numbers. I mean, honestly, if I'm looking at their passing, I think we can keep them under 150 yards passing. I mean, yeah, okay, we might have a couple broken plays. We might have a couple big plays here and there, whatever that you know, they benefit from. But 150 yards passing, I don't see them going over that. And just going back to their rushing stats, I mean, they averaged 95 yards a game last year. If we should be able to keep them under 80. Honestly, if we keep them under 50, that means no big plays on the ground. That means defensive line did everything they could to get them on that first wave. Then the linebackers did their job with the cleanup duty. No need for the secondary. If we could hold them under 50 yards rushing, amazing. I don't see that happening. I see it probably being somewhere more in between 50, 80 yards rushing for the game. But we'll see, man. I expect a lot of things from that linebacking core, that front defensive line. I mean, we've heard the hype all off season. So I want to believe in it. Help me believe in the hype. But yeah, man. 2 turnovers a game last year. I mean, when you're talking about when you're going against an Oklahoma team who specializes in turnovers, I expect that number to double. I mean, if they average 2 a game, we should get 4 this game. I can see 4 interceptions. I can see 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble, whatever the case may be. I can see us with 4 turnovers this game. Again, man, I just expect so much from this defense. I mean, they've hyped it so much this offseason. I believe in the hype. I just have so much expectations for this defense. That secondary, I expect them to tighten up. Don't let nobody get by them. No big plays. And it's going to happen, y'all. I mean, first game, it's the first game for both teams. So, I mean, we're going to have the jitters. We're going to have the, all of that come with the first game environment. We are at home, so that is a little beneficial towards us when it comes to that first game environment. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, this defense should be great this year. And this game should solidify anything that we might have, any questions that we might have on that defensive side, which I don't think we have any. But if there are any out there, this game should kind of, nip that in the bud a little bit, or at least give you a little more confidence, because it is still Temple. So regardless of how good the defense is, they're always going to be like, you're playing Temple. So let's get into the offense, man. Let's get into this Oklahoma offense. I expect Jackson Arnold, man, to have a big day this game. These are the type of games where you want your well, he's not a true freshman, but you want your quarterback making his first start in his first regular season game to show out this game. You want him to be who everybody expects him to be. So what do I expect from him? Let's talk about 350 plus on the go in the air. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about 50 plus on the ground. Let's talk about that. Jackson Arnold might have 400 yards alone by himself. And if he does, all questions at that quarterback position, despite the fact that we might be playing Temple, will be gone. Anyways, and I don't, these are kind of like, hey, I mean, and if you think about the score that I have down here, it's not unrealistic to see Jackson Arnold with 350 plus yards in the air, 50 plus rushing yards. I expect him to have a big game. Now let's go into the rushing though. Sawchuk, Barnes, Franklin, Tatum. What I expect from them boys. I expect us to have 200-yard rushers this year. Or this game, I'm sorry. 200-yard rushers this game. Sawchuk and Barnes might as well be y'all. Let's solidify that running back position. Let's solidify those top 2, or 1A, 1B. Remember Florida State game, the bowl game? They both went crazy, and we were like, man, we got 2 guys. I want to see that this game. I want to see those 2 guys do what they did in that Florida State game in this game. And I believe it can happen. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, and then let's talk about Franklin and Tatum. Let's just say they have 100 yards together, 50 apiece. I mean, now that I think about it, the way I'm looking at this, we should have over 700 yards of offense throughout this game. I mean, I don't think that's unrealistic. I think that is dominating, and if we are doing everything that we should be doing, I don't see why that can't be the outcome. Let's talk about the wide receivers, man. Brennan Thompson, Deion Burks, Jalil Farouk, Nick Anderson, Petaway. I mean, look, I feel like Thompson might have a couple big plays. Let's give him 80 plus yards. Deion Burks, I think he's gonna go off. I'm saying he's got 100 plus this game. He's gonna go off. Jalil Farouk, let's give him 50 plus yards. Nick Anderson, 50 plus. Petaway, 50 plus. Like, I think that we're gonna distribute the ball perfectly. And, I mean, if you want to talk about the tight ends, too, I mean, B. Sharp and then Roberts, let's give them 60 yards between the 2 of them. I mean, I don't see why this is not this stuff can't happen. I don't see why it can't happen. So, that's my expectations, man. I mean, defense, like I said, keep them under 80 yards rushing, 150 yards passing. I don't see why that's unrealistic. But let's talk about the score, man. Final score, I expect us to go crazy on them, 52-6. I don't expect them boys to score now one touchdown this game. Now, where the 6 points come from? Okay, you might have two busted plays. That might happen. Like I said, first game, jitters. Gotta get our feet under us. You know, it's we gotta get loose out there. We gotta get ready for the year, you know. So I can see two busted plays that don't result in touchdowns because of the pursuit of the defense. I feel like that secondary, them linebackers, they got the speed out there. If something gets busted, we gonna catch them. And when we catch them, they not scoring a touchdown. Let's say that happens 2 times this game. It's 6 points. You get 2 field goals out of that. You ain't mad at that. Especially if our offense is doing what we think they can do and they putting 52 points on the board. So that's my predictions, man. Oklahoma 52, Temple 6. Big game for Jackson Arnold. Defense, lockdown, stellar. And yeah, man, we're going to start the year off right. Start the year off with confidence. And, you know, kind of change the narrative on this team. You know, you can kind of see how the team kind of slightly changed the narrative when it came to, you know, the closer to the start, you know, the national media kind of started, you know, saying Oklahoma's the sleeper team, blah, blah, blah. After all offseason, they've been trashing us all offseason. But I feel like this game will put a little more hype on the team. I mean, obviously, they're still going to say, hey, you're playing Temple. Whoop-de-doo, you know. So expect that. But, yeah, man, good game. I thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. I don't even want to talk about the DeMarco Murray stuff. I mean, it's like, it's nothing. Nothing. I'm not even gonna, it is what it is. You know, he's not gonna be there for the game. Whoop-de-doo. Okay? So, either way, man, it's your boy, the ATXSooner. Thank y'all for tuning in with me. Again, I apologize for the sound quality, the lack of experience when it comes to the background. But I'm just trying to make sure I get this content out to y'all. I know I'm not going to be home for a while, so I got to figure out a way to make this work, you know. So expect less edits. It won't be, you know, too much going on with the thumbnails. It won't be too much going on with the intros and the outros of the videos, at least until I get home. You might see a little inconsistency in quality when it comes to, you know, me going back and forth from here to home. But either way, man, we're going to get this content out. Y'all deserve it. Best fan base in the world. But yeah, man, y'all know why we got to keep this going. Y'all know why we can't be stopped. It's because it's in our DNA. Baby. Bye.